Well, I am leaving the Meadows, heading back to Brunswick. Nope, I have to pick Ava up in Northfield first at her friends. I want to go over the way the horses race day. You know, I woke up this morning. Now, Addie has been off school yesterday and today. She was a little sick, had lots of mucus and stuff. Not bad, but a lot of mucus. So she had a choice to make. You know, stay home and relax and spend a couple hours trick-or-treating, or take the chance of going to school and be coughing all day and miss out on Halloween. Obviously, the latter was unlikely, but I just want her to understand that, you know, she wanted to go to school today because they had a Halloween party today. So I wanted her to recognize that she had to sacrifice going. She wouldn't have been able to stay long at school anyway. She would have coughed 10 times, and you know, and Amy hates that. You know, I'm 48. For those of you out there that are in your 40s or older, you don't get home to stay home from school because of a cough, right? And then we all went through the pandemic where you don't go anywhere if you have a cough. So we're kind of creeping away from what had happened in 2019, 2020, and 2021, and especially here in Ohio, getting back to the way it used to be. And my wife, Amy, she is mortified if a couple of times the nurse had called over the last 2 years and said, hey, Ollie or Ava or Addie is coughing, you know, we're going to give them some Tylenol. They'll be fine. There's actually no Tylenol because there was no headache. You know, my wife feels embarrassed. I know. School. If you can go to school, you go to school. If you can go to work, you go to work. If you can't, you can't. I'm not embarrassed at all, but there was no going to school today. She was coughing quite a bit. So I already knew the answer, but I wanted her to understand that if you go to school and you're not feeling good and you run around and you're really sick, you could miss Halloween. But if you opt out of going to the school party, you will get your 2 hours or whatever trick-or-treating. So she picked the latter. So we were home today. We went into the barn really quick. She seemed fine all day. We were going into the barn really quick. I checked on the horses, and then Amy had left with Addie. Addie stayed for about an hour in the car watching her iPad, I'm sure, or in the room of some sort. And then they went home. I came over to the Meadows, and we had 5 horses in today. Now, I was optimistic, right? I felt that Captain Incredible, even coming in, you know, off a 55 qualifier, a little short, probably had a pretty good chance. As it turned out, I think the way the race shaped up, he would have had a very good chance. But ultimately, we can talk more about him when I give you the total rundown. He was sick, full of mucus afterwards, and I knew it 5 steps, not even out of the gate. If you watch him picking at him coming off the car, usually you're going to watch him. You know, don't stir him up because he could get into his knee, he could get out of gear, but there's never, ever any power outage with Captain Incredible. Today there was. Full of mucus. No blood, which is good, but full of mucus. So that was that. You know, you could tell, you know, this horse has never looked tired a day. He got beat fair and square a couple of times in Kentucky. He got beat by some good horses in 50-51 in the Meadows in the summer. He has never looked tired a day in his life. So clearly there was something up with Captain Incredible today, and obviously we know what it is now. Manhattan Money, I think he's just a little tired, this guy. You know, I could see in the board coming to the half that the middle of the pack was getting a little antsy, a little anxious, and I didn't want somebody to trot hard down the backstretch and trot right by me. So the first time I could hear them coming, I kicked the earplugs out because I wanted to let him hear them coming, and he did. And he did all he could. He's just a little tired today. And I think that's kind of what he's going through right now. I had somebody message me the other day, and I had spoke about the possibility of being tired. They said, well, why wouldn't you have just sold him? Why would I sell him? He only needs 3 weeks in the field, 3 weeks in the barn. 6 weeks, he'll be back going. And still worth way more than we weren't going to get for him the other day. It's not a big deal. It just isn't fair market for what he is. And he is a decent horse. But he is tired. So I think we're going to kick him out in the field for a few weeks. Neptune, actually, you have no idea. Now, just to put it in perspective, we'll talk more about each horse Looks Like Money raced good, maybe a hair flat, but it was windy, it was cold, and it was kind of tacky and muddy through the middle part of the program. The mile they went in Neptune's race was ungodly. 50 flat. I'm telling you, I had 2 turtlenecks on. I had a mud suit that's made for the summer. So it's a one piece. It's a little thicker than a summer suit. It's like a thin fall suit. I had 2 turtlenecks and a pair of long johns on underneath. I had my spring and fall gloves on, and I had a beanie on underneath. It was cold. It was chilly today. That mile was unbelievable. Lou Grant was the name of the horse. From post 9, nonetheless. What a mile that thing went. And listen, Neptune is just not an open pacer. He went in 50-2 on a hot day when they were all coming back to him. He wants no part of 150 on a cool fall day with the wind blowing from post 8. He'll drop down and we'll get him in a more favorable place. Post 8 alone, I think, is tough for him. He likes to be kind of in the hunt. He doesn't need to be 1-2, but he'd rather not sit 8th with them, especially when they're going to go that kind of speed. So there's no real excuse or anything I can tell you about Neptune, only that he was maybe a hair out of his element today. That's what he was. Now, it Looks Like Money was good. Did any of you know how many starts that horse has this year? I thought it was a mistake. I looked 3 times. I really can't believe it. For a horse that got injured 2 years ago, I just take it for granted. It was 52 weeks in a year. Today was Looks Like Money's 34th start this year. There isn't another horse in our barn, I'm certain of it, even remotely rivals that. There isn't that many horses around that rival that race at that level. Now, I'm going to address this for a second. One, great job by Looks Like Money this year. I thought maybe 26, 27. I was flabbergasted. And 24 of them in the top 3. At some point, he will need a rest. I know I've had people say, why don't we sell Looks Like Money? But here's the problem. Nobody is stupid enough to say, now there's a horse that we need. We need that fella that's got 34 starts this year. Wow. He's an open trotter. He's going to continue to be an open trotter at the Meadows. He's been very good all year. Now, I will say this. They don't race the first week of January in the Meadows. We don't really want to race at Christmas in the Meadows. So why don't we aim to race Looks Like Money straight through to November, into December, and then by no later than December 15th, kick him out in the field and bring him back the second week of January. Gives him a good 3.5 weeks off. And I'll go even further. Since we're turning him out in December 15th, we have some babies that will be coming in on December 15th from Kentucky. We all know it's miserable weather Christmas time, for a horse. To rest a horse, a little cold, a little damp. Why don't we just put him on the truck heading to Kentucky, turn him out for 3.5, 4 weeks in Kentucky, and then bring him back, get him prepped and ready to race. I think that makes the most sense, and if there was ever a horse deserved it, that horse pumped out 130. He's going to be bumping right up against probably 150,000 made this year at the Meadows. That is not an easy thing to accomplish. For an overnight horse, not very often. I was very pleased with him today. Was he a hair flat? Yeah, he was. He still raced good. Was this an 11th or 12th win of the year today? Just a tremendous job by this horse. He has been such a good horse for this barn for quite a long time. And we finished off our day with 3-point blue chip. Looks Like Money went in 55. 3-point blue chips race went in 55. It's tough. He seemed a little gassed in the last turn, to be honest. Finished up his mile good, but just a tick from where we had him before. 54, 55 in the summer months, and then 55 in the fall are 2 very different things. Now, I've been saying this for 2 weeks, sitting on a win. When I went on the track today, especially when I got away in the 3-hole, I'm like, he'll get there. Just a hair flat. So at some point, I'm going to have a talk with Tom. You know, he's been extremely patient when it comes to three-point blue chip. You know, when we got him back from Kentucky last year, he went on a tear. He raced good. He's had a decent year. And he's decent right now. We just need him to be a little more than decent. Not an open trotter, but just a good trotter. He's just not, and I guess that's not to say, that's not me alluding to saying that he's a bad trotter. He's a nice horse. He's just not the same horse he was right now anyway. And although I will tell you, if the right field of 9 is assembled, that goes in 55 and a piece and is a little soft, well, most definitely he'll mop the guts out of them. But he got a favorable trip today and didn't want any part of the front end there. So, you know, when you win a race, it's usually a good day. Not a great day today, though. Manhattan Money's hired. Neptune just needs to drop down a little bit, that's all. Which, you know my answer to this with the ladder racing. He fits in there. He's in the meaty middle. We'll see how this plays out. I'll be watching it very closely. Looks like Money was great. Captain Incredible was full of mucus. And the word full was in capital letters when it was texted to me. So I'm trying to articulate it best I can, which shouldn't be shocking to you. As I said, he's never not a day in his life, not one trip, not one training mile, not one race has he ever looked outmatched and exhausted. He was tired today. He may even need a week. And then three-point blue chip again. Just need to get him into just a hair softer crew. So there you have it. That is our racing for today. We did muster a win, so not the end of the world. And to be honest, given the fact that Neptune was in tough and Captain Incredible was sick, you really only had 2 horses that were kind of flat. One was exhausted, and one just seems to be a step off of what I expect him to be right now. So Manhattan Money will go to the field. We'll give him 3 weeks off. Neptune just needs to drop down just a scotch, just a little. And that's not to say if that Lou Grant goes away, that was a hell of a mile. If he goes away, right, and we don't draw 8, we draw 4 or 5, well, maybe Neptune's right there. He can certainly pace fast enough. But that was a scorcher of a mile today. And then we talked about 3 points. So there you have it. That's what's up today. We had a few horses just training back today. Amy was getting back on the horse, so to speak. She's had a busy summer with Ollie and baseball, and then, you know, just tired. Now she's back and she's sharp like she used to be, and it always is. And she trained Bobby today. Said she trained good, trained Pretty Eyes and Lies today, and said they both trained good, but with an open bridle they wander. I said, well, she goes, well, you raced them with an open. I said, yeah, it's not the same as training by yourself. Maybe put that blinders on them next time. But she said they trained good. That was her first trip back. Tomorrow time is on my side, and I haven't heard anything. I meant to ask Aaron point blank to his face, are you actually going to drive this horse tomorrow with the 8-hole? Now, I will say this. They're very bullish of him. 2-1 in the 28,000 class, which got to be the open handicap, no? So maybe he is going to go down and drive in the open. I have no idea. There's lots of good drivers down there right now. I mean, Aaron knows the horse, so I would rather Aaron go. But if he can't go, then we'll find a replacement. Gorgeous package in at Mohawk in a different class, supposedly a softer class, but again shows up at 8-1. Now she was a little bit short last week, and you know, stretched out pretty good by some age spacing mares. She's back to the numbers at 3 or 60, which is a 30 claimer, I believe, right now. So in a good place, I believe. Foxy Seaside is 3-1 at Northfield Park on Sunday, so good luck to Aaron in regards to that. I believe Aaron is driving Foxy. He is. So good luck to him. And then Monday, we have Memento Mori in Cumberland. Brett McDonald is going to do a little driving. Not our first time with Brett. He's done a lot of driving in Ontario for us. He's going to drive Rock Shining Star, Memento Mori in Cumberland Run. And that will all but close out the season for us in Cumberland. The other horse in Cumberland is Degas, racing on Tuesday. Winter Soldier is picked to win and looks like he's in a good spot Monday evening for Aaron. Allure is racing at Mohawk on Monday for Billy Davis. She's 10-1. I don't think I'm going to leave her there very much longer. This filly should not be racing in classes where she's 10-1. we may have a substitute in the midst soon. And Greatest Ending is racing on Monday evening also. And then Tuesday we have Legal Scholar with Justin Irvine and Degas. What are Degas' odds? I am interested. 12-1. Boom. Sucks. I thought she'd be lower than that. Gee, she raced greater last start. She raced greater first start. Yannick Gingras is going to drive her. 12-1. That's correct. Anyway, that's what went on this week. Obviously, tomorrow we're off to Harrisburg. It is here. We are off to Harrisburg. We know what we're looking for. We know what we're likely going to get. I appreciate, the clients that have been emailing the most are New York and New Jersey clients, wondering about that pacer, wondering about that New York bucket. I appreciate all the help. I do. For those of you looking to get involved, I don't know how many shares are left. I know that the high-end pacer has a number of shares left, but those will disappear. I can tell you right now, there's about 40 to 50 or 55 shares in limbo. They are just about to jump in. There are a lot of questions asking, what are you looking for? I'll tell you guys right now. If you're going to ask me preliminarily speaking right now, I'll tell you my two favorite horses in the sale are Stay Hungries. I don't know much about them. I've only had one, Stay Special. She wasn't a killer, but she was as tough as whalebone. That's right. That's what I said. I like those. Obviously, there's a couple of Bulldogs I like. 2 or 3 Captain Treacherouses I like. And then if you continue on with that, the New Jersey Pacer obviously needs to be a perfect sting. I'm just not going to buy a Lazarus. It's just not going to happen. But it would have to be a perfect sting. The Trotting Colt bucket, the PA Trotting Colt bucket, a number of horses that I have been dog-eared, and a number of our clients have helped me do so. It should be a lot of fun. It just feels like when we go to the sale, it's like, hit me with all 900 horses. Let me look at them all. This sale's not like that. A lot of horses. Most of the sale I have cordoned off. I would say all that we're looking at is of the entire sale book, maybe 100, 110 horses, maybe less. So it's not going to be quite as frantic, quite as hectic. For those of you also asking, I will tell you right now that we are going to have a show down there, just on the Monday and the Tuesday, I believe. Curtis is going to be busy, and it's a different feel. Different feel. And to finish off, the last questions of the day that I got, are we buying any racehorses? Yeah, probably. Likely. What do we need? We need an open pacer. We need a high-end open trotter. And some more horses like the ones that we've been buying lately. That's what we need. So we'll see if we can put that together in Harrisburg also. So it may not be as hectic as Lexington or even the Ohio sale for that matter, because we look at every horse in that sale. So it is a little more targeted, but at the same time, still a lot going on. And again, I'll continue to leave an open invitation for everybody. If you're in Harrisburg, you want to hang out with us, no problem whatsoever. Please do not go there or ever feel like I or Amy or anybody is too busy to hang out with you. And please do not say, I'm only a small owner. This stable is made up of small owners. We all are. I am too. So please don't think because you maybe only have a couple of shares of horses that you somehow aren't as important. You are. So if you want to hang out with us, maybe get a bite to eat at some point, let me know if you're in Harrisburg. If you don't, just doing your own thing, that's cool too. We'd be happy to talk, chat, look at horses, whatever you want to do. But for right now, we're all done for Friday. I'm not going to jinx them, so I'm not going to say a word. Got a busy night ahead of me. Take care, everybody.